How musicians kill it when they do interviews. Many musicians are scared of interviews because they think they don't have anything interesting to say. But a great interview trick that's been used by so many artists for so many years is to just tell a different story when you don't like what's asked. When I media train artists, I teach them that when somebody asks you a question, it doesn't mean that's the question you have to answer. And what I mean by that is you just talk about something you'd rather talk about. It's so easy to dodge questions. Politicians do it all day. The best tip I have for you when you're doing interviews is to have 5 things you'd like to talk about. Some stories memorized that you would like out in the world, some opinions you have, whatever it is, and then just work them into any conversation. Someone asks you a dumb question like, what are your influences? And you have a great story about, well, I don't know, you really like? Well, you say that really influenced you. Your old age isn't why your music's failing. This is for you, Unk. We're in an era where people are blowing up in their mid-30s more commonly than ever. People don't check birth certificates before they decide if they like a song anymore. You don't see the face of the artist a lot of the time when you're getting into them. And the fact is, there's much bigger reasons why most people who are older don't have music that connects. The real fact is, when people age, their passion often fades. That's the thing that makes you dated, not your wrinkles. Younger artists create from this place where they feel intense emotional emotions. They really are like making them feel so much passion in the moment, and they need to get it out. When you're older, you're often beat down and you don't feel the need to do this. You give up, you cut corners, you kind of just half-ass everything, and that's why so many older people make music that doesn't connect with people. Here's the best way to deal with burnout for creators. I recently hit some serious burnout from too much travel and work, and here's what I've learned over the years when dealing with this. Bank content when you have good energy. Keep a few posts aside so that you don't be inconsistent and you can reach for something when you're really tired. Free yourself of the idea that you need to post every single day. 3 times a week is plenty to keep your audience engaged and the algorithm. Instagram even recently said so. When I see artists burning themselves out trying to post daily content, it hurts both their work and mental health. And some of my most successful clients post just a few times each week, but make sure to make those quality posts. But if you're feeling burnt out, just make low effort content for a while, get rested, and come back stronger with more high quality content. Why everyone seems to have more success than you as a musician? I'll be direct. Musicians complaining about content creation need a reality check. Every era of music comes with musicians not wanting to do a part of it. In the past, artists did endless radio interviews and magazine features, answering the same questions hundreds of times. Today, it's TikTok and social media. In the 80s, you'd have to put 1,000 mailing list labels on postcards to get people to come to a show each time you played. The format changes, but the principle stays the same. You have 2 choices: adapt to the current landscape to achieve your dreams, or cling to an unrealistic ideal where promotion isn't necessary. Content creation isn't some new burden. It's just the latest version of what music promotion has always demanded. The sooner you accept this reality, the sooner you can focus on what matters. Trying to land opening slots for bigger acts in 2025 isn't really it. Those opportunities barely exist anymore with how tight tour budgets are. Instead, you really need to team up with 2 or 3 similar artists in your scene and build your following together so you get selected for those tours. The fact is, an artist now needs to pick the right act for their tours in order to get people out and compete with all the other artists that are playing. If you tour with a bunch of other similar artists, this is how you organically find the people who are into new artists in each city and are the right people to know to build your fan base, and that's how you can start to build. But when you're just cold emailing, all you're doing is wasting your time when you could be doing this to grow. Is it helpful to attend mixing sessions as a musician? I've been producing records for decades, and on the artist development side numerous times. And one of the things that I think people get really mixed up about is whether you need to attend a mixing session or not. The fact is, a lot of people work better if you let them cook alone. You don't always need to be there, and too many chefs kills the vibe, and you're often a distraction if you're saying a lot of things to the mixer while they're just getting started, because a lot of the stuff isn't creative at first. It's just getting the ducks in the row to get started. It's one thing to give some references and some notes before a session, but it's another thing to be there watching every little turn and seeing what happens when the mixer should have some sort of vision if it's going to be any good. You also maintain your objectivity if you stay out of the room and can hear things without all the changes they've been hearing and often catch things that they haven't noticed. If you're a musician looking to move cities, there's a detail a lot of people overlook. When you're moving to a new city as a musician, location is everything. Everyone talks about rent prices, but no one warns you about transportation costs destroying your budget. Having to hawk an instrument around town in Ubers or a car can be a big difference between somebody who can ride a bike everywhere. Living far from venues and practice spaces will drain your wallet fast, especially late at night when public transit stops running. Take Brooklyn, for example. Musicians flock to Bushwick and Bed-Stuy because that's where the scene's at. But if you're not on the right subway line, those Uber rides add up real quick. Same goes for any city where it's Ubering from outside the city to having to pay for parking every event you attend. It's not just about finding affordable rent. It's about being able to actually get to and from your music life without going broke. Why failing publicly online makes you better than everyone else. Post Malone's first single was literally one of the worst songs I've ever heard, and probably you will too if you make the mistake of listening to it. My first videos from 5 years ago are still up on my channel, and they're absolutely terrible. The real truth is, it's easier to get better if you create in public. When you release work publicly, you start meeting people through your creations, and you start getting feedback and thinking more about what you create as you see it in the world. You form real connections and bonds because you have stuff out in the world and people can talk about your work. Keeping things private until they're perfect will just hold you back, since you need to get feedback, build community, and show people you're doing things and gaining momentum as you go, since people take it seriously when you're out in the world and putting things out. The artists I saw break out this year paid nothing for PR or ads, so why are you? On my channel, I dissect the viral artists every single week, and almost none of those artists spend a single dollar on publicity or ads to get where they are. They focused entirely on creating content, and most of them did it completely free because they made it themselves. The only investment these successful artists made were in getting their music to sound good. Some bought mixing, some bought mastering, some bought production. But that's what makes music amazing today, is that when you use smart techniques to get your music heard, well, it can actually be done for free. And I know some of you don't like those answers, but the reality is, this is what I study, these are the people I talk to, and I see it over and over again. The surprising benefits of collabing with artists who have 0 followers. If you think linking up with artists who have little to no followers is a waste, think again. It's actually a very smart move, especially when you're starting out. Here's the odd reason. It's all about potential, not current stats. You can never be certain if an artist with no following today will have a huge one in 2 years, and your collab suddenly gets a spotlight and helps you grow. I have seen this happen so many times over the years that someone with a good ear for talent, well, hooks up with someone early on, and then it's a great investment in their future career. Every collab is a potential gold mine down the road. And one of the nice things is when there's not big expectations, you can experiment, find your sound together, and make it fun. It's so much easier to make genuine connections when you're collaborating based on shared vibes, not follower counts, and just doing opportunistic shit like so many of you talk about. Because remember, you'll be on their artist page and getting discovered for the rest of that artist's career, and also, with algorithms these days, you can have a lot of algorithmic ties that help you grow for many years. I see it all the time. Do musicians in major cities have an unfair advantage in 2024? In this digital age, does it matter if you live in hubs like LA or New York or Nashville? The strange truth is that, well, in-person networking can go really far. While the internet is the greatest thing that ever happened for flattening the earth, industry insiders still make deals over drinks and at exclusive parties. Being there means rubbing shoulders, and let's be honest, if you're a likable person, it really does go far, and people feel like they owe people they might run into. Whereas if you're on the internet, it's pretty easy to duck an email in the future. Not that I'm not great at ducking people at bars. But seriously, I've lived in Brooklyn for a long time, and the amount of times I've seen the girlfriend or the person who comes out to party get favorable reviews and placements on things, well, it's kind of infinite, and I've watched it go on. So you can't deny there's not an advantage, but really, most of the things that matter these days with building community and finding people can be done on the internet, but there is a little bit of an advantage of being in the right city for your genre. Parking a song can help you write better songs. You ever work on a song and it's damn good, but it's just not quite there yet. I was watching A.G. Cook, Charlie XCX, talk about making her Brat record, and he discussed the idea of parking a song. Meaning, the song's good, but you don't quite know where to move with it yet, and you don't want to keep working on it and beating it into the ground and push it further down the production line. So psychologically, if you park it and say it's just sitting there until you figure out something else to do with it, can be a huge hack so that you can always keep it in the back of your mind, and if you get inspired one day, well, you can pick it back up, and it's not seen as dead, and it doesn't depress you that no one will ever hear the good parts of of it that you like. It's just parked until you pick it up and drive it again. And that could be when you work on it with somebody else, you get more inspiration, or all of a sudden you just listen to it another day and hear what it needs. Unlock your creative potential by looking inward, not outward. Caroline Polachek's Dang is like the best late night performance of all time, and it has such an interesting hidden detail of insight in it. In her slideshow presentation throughout the performance, there's this graph that's like the best thing I've ever seen to illustrate the weird thing that so many of us know about artist development that Rick Rubin, Questlove, David Byrne, and I all talk about in our books. When you make songs people love, it's actually from the connection between your you-ness and newness. But what does that really mean? What it means is the things that are most unique to you and finding how you bring all those different influences inside of you are what make you feel new to other people, because no two people are the same. And if you combine lots of influences and really bring that to it, well, that's gonna make the newness that feels fresh and raw and what will excite people about your music. And everyone who thinks that you make good art by trying to please other people is totally wrong. There's a reason that everyone who's been a part of great records says the same thing, and this is it.